Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Game 3 and 4 of the ARML 2022 Championship. Had a bunch of action that's already taken care of with two games. We had Eric, unfortunate, taking two force. Huang took a third and then stormed back to take the overall lead in the second game. But Luce right there on his heels, and Kenyon sitting right around zero. This is Korak. I am joined by Ennui. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just excited to be celebrating my birthday with some mahjong action.
Well, this is certainly a way to do it. Get the Grand Championship of the Year on here. Eric will be first dealer. Kenyon is on the right in south seat. Luce is across in the west seat. And Huang is the north seat on the left. The
And
game
this is
should
a
be starting literally any minute.
this is a pretty critical game, especially for Eric and Kenyon. I mean, if either one of them have to sort of feel like if they don't get first here, their chance at the championship is almost certainly toast. Kenyon is in a slightly better position than Eric, certainly, but still, the less of a deficit you have going into the final game, the better.
And we're off. Eric is first dealer here. Has a Pinfu type hand, also potential Tanya. Dreaming of a 4-5-6 Sanshoku. Just going to cut the Terminal 9 on there. On the right, that is a Pinfu type hand as well. You love the Sanshoku, but the 2, 3, 4 is going to be hard to get, considering there are 2s, 3s, or 4s in so across the way. That's a Pinfu hand, but kind of awkward to work with. On the left, that's just flat out awkward.
Yeah, Eric's hand really seems to be significantly better than most of the others. Kenyon probably, especially with that 3-mon pull, definitely has the best chance of fighting here.
And Eric cuts the 8-pin here. I'm definitely keeping that 8 because I want as many pair candidates as possible to get this to Tiny, and I'm very sad if I pair up Chun.
I think with no tune cut yet, Eric needs to run up the score as dealer. Like, one big hand is great, but really you just can't afford to lose in hands.
Right, but
So
this is definitely keeping a safe tile. Even now, the 8, you could draw the 7 and have a potential 3-sided weight.
yeah, now that the other tune has been, or that the first tune has been dropped, I definitely see a lot less purpose for the tune in hand.
Meanwhile, I have Ishunten on the right, no value though, and doesn't even want it.
Yeah, I would really like to draw into that 2-3-3-4 pin, that Nakabukure shape.
Well, there's your pair up. Now you definitely just cut the tune or the 3-6 potentially. And there goes the 3. Just sticking with that safe tile the whole time.
Do you think there's a particular reason Eric is being so conservative here with this tune?
I don't like it, but I never like hedging things, especially first row. Like, this is about the time I keep a safe tile, and now you've drawn the Dora, and he's just giving up on this hand. And I don't think if you're Eric, you can ever give up on this hand. You just yeet the Dora right now. You go for it. Full send, everything. You have basically 2 dealer turns to save your tournament life.
Is keeping that one so maybe can make something happen here. We see only one other Dora has been drawn, so it is still possible for Eric to pull in a Dora. It's just going to be hard to now race the other hands that have significantly caught up to your speed.
Now we're going to see Ishunten on the left, but okay, there's the call. Probably even a call for K10, honestly, given the Tuso here. Because you pair up the Hatsu, you still don't have a Yaku.
Huang with a upgrade on the left, cutting the 8-pin, now has the 5-6 Ryanmen. Right now, the East is functioning as the pair, though, so would be kind of valueless if they don't either pawn the East and get a different pair, or pair up the Hatsu. And there's another pair candidate for Huang.
Well, do you dare yeet the Hatsu here? Nope. Says, I will do it if I get to 10-5, but not a second before.
Well, especially now that you've seen dealer open.
Well, dealer has so many mid tiles in the pond, you kind of wonder if Eric has 2 of them here. Maybe baiting out the table.
Well, and Luce at this point, I mean, her hand seems almost unsalvageable.
Luce has given up at this point. You can see for the discards. And now draws a Dora and is very relieved. It's the yes, it was right to fold this hand. This was going nowhere, and it was going nowhere slowly.
Kenyon still Ishanten, though.
Yeah, decides to keep the 4-6-8 opposed to the 2-4-6 Ryankan. And I definitely keep the 2 mono. Well, okay, now you have still kind of an ugly shunt. You're just gonna have the 1 pin there. But the 2-3, if you keep the
Huang gets sumo only.
just casually Dama sumo there for Huang. No, I definitely keeping the 2-mon there on the right for Kenyon in case you get the Ipeco upgrade. But hey, there's a sumo for Huang, but I am always the advocate of just hit the button. I think that would have been an Ipatsubo.
It would have been. It was just so late, I think, and with it being
doesn't know where the
what
Dora
Eric was going for.
Gets a little scared, but I feel you're in that championship game. You got to gamble some point, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Especially once you've tossed the Dora and it got past, maybe Huang was considering calling Ricci the turn after Dora. If nobody pawns the Dora, then call Ricci, but...
Well, Huang now doesn't have to worry about it, but the problem is the East is Mochi Mochi here. Kenyon has 2, and Huang has 2. Huang also has 3 Dora, so a much stronger incentive just open.
Yeah, well, with a couple other pairs here, they don't really... This doesn't look like a Toy hand. But if you can find some Yaku other than just the East.
Dead. You can
the 9's already been discarded.
Yeah, the 9s are discarded. You could turn this into an Ipeco. It's actually Ipeco Ishanten, which would be a really nice way to move this hand. Because that 8-pin looks so safe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now you have a question of which Kanchan do you want? You have 3 of them now.
Which one would you choose?
That one. Yeah, I agree with the 6-so cut. Because you can still pull in the 3-so for the Intotsu, and then you can cut the 3-5 one anyway. And you can even call the East at that point. Oh, there you go. Rewarded. I absolutely Dama this. This is rare for Quark to say Dama this, but this is just so disgusting.
Yeah. This Ipeco Dora 3. The Ricci doesn't really add value unless you're able to sumo, which you don't expect.
You're waiting on. And you just look at these hands. No one can use the 8-pin. Maybe Eric might be able to massage it in there somewhere, but it just doesn't fit into these hands.
Well, now, rather than someone dealing into this very sneaky weight, it's just a matter of will the 8-pin come into someone's hand before Luce is able to win with the 8-mon.
Right. Tempai on the right. There are 2 of them. It's a 2 versus 2 weight, actually. Oh, there's the 8.
It doesn't get discarded, though.
But yeah, Eric says there's no real incentive for me to fight here. Oh, but that 8 feels like it's about to.
Yeah, it looks like Kenyon might be making a shift towards Honitsu here. Throwing away the worst shape at the very least.
Right. Well, the 1 is safe, but this is going to deal in. Which one?
No,
it deals into the cheap hand. That is definitely the cheap hand. And Kenyon's going to look at that log and breathe a huge sigh of relief.
But since that was just the 2K deal-in, we're still incredibly tight here. Luce starting off with one of the Dora 3-so and an Anko of the Haku.
Yeah, you'd love to go Hanitsu with this, but I almost think you can get. Maybe I had Shanta here with the potential 1-2-3, 1-1-1-2-3, if you can call that 7-so. And that definitely seems to be the. Well, never mind. Now you just take anything you get. You're even dreaming of the Honitsu. If 1-so comes out, you just go for it.
If you're Huang here, do you call Pawn on the East if it comes out?
Oh my goodness. Look at this hand for Luce.
It just keeps pulling in Sozu.
Oh yeah, you absolutely pull in this if you're Huang. If you are Kenyon, like there's nothing there. It's going to be that Ipeco, and you're kind of stuck on that shape. There's the East. It is Tempai.
Takes the Tempai waiting on the 5-so. It was either that or the 5-pin.
Well, there's a 5-pin out already. Oh my goodness. This is
Oh.
actually Tempai.
リーチ
Or you could wait a turn and go back to Ishunten. Instead, we'll just throw the 1 so, and there goes the 5. Huang now Tempai on 4-7 versus the 2-mon for
boy.
dealer here, loose. And a 2 is drawn. There are no safe tiles. But the 1 comes out. Oh, and the 6 so that would have been Tempai. Hold on. Would that? Yeah, that would have been Tempai waiting on 5. So, and there's the 7. Hatsu Tone deals in for 2,000. The Richi stick and Huang extending the lead in first place.
And this third championship, Hanshan just continues to blaze along. Cheap little
Dealer
hands.
Ishunten, by the way.
Oh God.
Richi Dora 1 if you get it. Of course, 2-pin would be a very interesting draw. They have to hedge all sorts of options with the Peiko, the potential upgrades elsewhere. On the right, Pinfu hand and a Dora across the way. 2 Yakuhai, that's a Honitsu play.
And 2 Dora.
And 2 Dora, my goodness, that's a Hanemon waiting to happen, but it's a long way away. And the problem is a lot of those Sotai are going to be eaten by Loose, who's also liking going for Honitsu in the same suit.
Yeah, I feel like with having the 2 Yakuhai and the 2 Dora, oh, and now you pull in a Chun, which hasn't been discarded yet.
Well, never mind. Yeah, big sad. Yeah, you're dreaming of Suanko when you see that. Pawn. Let's go. And that's what's going to happen is eventually this is going to go, wait a second. I wanted that Honitsu. Is actually Ryan Shunten there on the left, with very wide Ryan Shunten, actually.
Yeah, and while they are both going to get choked out of So tiles here, this definitely favors Kenyon, since she is the person who theoretically would be feeding Loose for cheese. Don't imagine.
Oh, there's the 3
tiles.
so a huge upgrade there. Kenyon's hand now looks a lot better. Still a long way off though, but a 5's a good floater. You can always call that. Haku, the problem is that means that Chun's gonna get stuck in the hand.
Huang still Ishunten after a full row of discards. A very, very small improvement in the Mon shape, but that's all. And there's a Haku.
There's an easy pull. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, I agree with the pay. And now I have Ishunten on the left for an absolute monster. And that Chun's eventually going to come out if anything around that 5 so is drawn. So if Loose managed to get a Tempai, there is a surprise waiting for Kenyon.
Yeah, well, an 8 so is not going to come out of anyone's hand, and there's no 8 so left in the wall. Because I'm sure what Kenyon would like to do is pull in an 8 so and then Tonki.
And just Tonki, yeah.
Oh, this is too high finally for Huang. Probably discarding the 3-pin. Yep.
No, I actually disagree with this. I love the Shump one here.
Yeah, the one
4 have this disgusting 1-pin weight.
So many pin tiles have been discarded, and 3 of the 2 and 5, and it would have been a Matsumo.
Yeah, you figure where are the 1-pin? They look so cheap on this board, and it's because they're on the wall, and you're about to draw one. This is when we're looking at the Pinfu. Pinfu is nice, but the Ipatsumo is even better.
But it's not even Pinfu because you have an Onko of 6 months, so it's not like you're improving your value.
At all. And Lewis is drawing a bunch of dangerous tiles. Seems to be out of here at this point.
Yeah, Luce's hand without the East or the Chun really wasn't that valuable. It probably would have just ended up being 3 Han. As opposed to Kenyon, who has all the reason in the world to push. Sitting over there with a Hanemon Ishunten still.
No, there's the East, and that's definitely Luce saying, I'm done.
Yep, and they're the East coming out of hand as safe tiles.
Meanwhile, Kenyon's like, where are the So tiles? I got into 1-9 so, and that's it. There it is. Now I imagine the Chun comes out. You have to push this, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. With a Hanemon, you can see 2 of the Dora.
Yeah, there it goes. Yep. Oh, and another 2-pin.
3 so, 6 so. And we see we see all 4 3 so, but we only see 2 6 so, I believe.
Come on! There's the Hanemon!
It's our first big hand of the Hanchan, and it comes in East 4, and that's going to propel Kenyon far into the lead and push his gimmick below 30k. Oh, yes. If Kenyon could stay the only person above 30K, then that would put her almost certainly in first place going into the final Hanchan.
It'd make this certainly close and be a fight for three. Eric's definitely trailing off here. Gonna need something and something fast. This is South 1. Arguably the last stand for Eric. If I'm Eric, I'm pushing literally everything. I don't care if you have Daisangan. I'm throwing that last dragon into it. I just go, and this unfortunately is not the hand
Yeah,
you need.
this hand is awful, especially when you look across the way at Luce's hand. Luce's hand is so freaking fast.
Eat.
And
Well,
so
you
is
say
Kenyon.
that, and Kenyon says, hold that thought.
And that's
Ricci,
a good weight,
Tanyao,
too.
yeah, waiting on the 2-5 Mon. And the rest of the table has to go, wait, what? But that is probably the end for Eric. You almost just want to go Yakuman Shibori for a big chunk of the rest of the game.
I mean,
Just say, if I don't win
have,
Yakuman, it's not worth going for.
you really don't have a lot of choice. I think Huang might be switching to a Honitsu here.
I mean, if you can get
Especially
it.
now,
Also,
with the
yeah,
4-pin Genbutsu, I am certain Huang is going to go for the Honitsu at this point.
right. Could be a toy, though. That's the only thing you have to watch, especially if 5-pin gets paired up. This 5 could eventually come out if you draw 5-pin. And you feel sad here having cut the 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 3 with the 1 discarded by the Ricci.
Oh, there's the
Never mind, just
Sumo.
And Kenyon says, I'm not done here. Ricci, Sumo, Tanyao gets another 4,000 off the table. And at 44,000, we're in South 2. It's been a fast game.
Oh, yeah. We haven't had a dealer repeat yet. And
Dealer
this is another incredible hand.
Little hand looking for that 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku. Definitely the play here. I think he's cut Chun. And there it goes on the right. Those are tiles. That's about all I can say about that hand.
13 of them, to be precise.
Ooh, let's see. And even one in the discards. Across the way, that is a nice little Rian Shanten with 3 Dora. So, I mean, you're dreaming with that. You get anything. I'm just going to tell you. I almost want to cut the 1, 2 right now. And on the left, we have a Tanya type hand with a few other loose floaters as well. Well, now you don't have to. You have a really wide Ishan, and I really do not like the 8-mon discard there. The South does nothing for this hand.
Yeah, and if you pair up the South, you'll be Tempai, but
it's not. It doesn't do anything for you. I like keeping the extra floater.
Does keep the 3-pin.
And then realizes, wait, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
And Kenyon,
Dealer's now Tempai.
Tempai.
Yeah, just reach you this 4-pin is the normal play here. It's so hard to get any sort of improvement here. And you might even bait out the 7-pin. I don't see a reason to do anything but 4-pin Ricci.
Yeah, the Dama is so, especially when you've discarded 4-pin, you're not really going to get improvements here.
There are no improvements.
At least not directly.
See, there's the 5. Your alternative was wait on the 5. But, I mean, unless you turn into an Itsu, that's really your only path forward. Interesting, cutting the 1 so there. I like the 3-pin or the 7-pin there for Huang. Kind of float your option as to what pair you want. Well, there's your second one.
Yeah, it takes the Katagiri.
Okay, now the 7 looks even better.
And the 7 could pretty easily come out of Gimmick's hand.
I mean, it doesn't really fit in this hand. The 3's, the 3 is the aggressive play, which is what we've come to expect from Huang, just going for it. But you're in the position you Ricci if you get it.
Oh, but there's the 8-pin.
Well, you just cut the 7 here. Yeah, Huang just full setting. When you have 3 Dora, you don't care. You're just going.
A lot of your Tempais here, though, do require you cutting a Dora.
Well, you have choices here.
You could cut 8-pin.
On the 8, or do you Ricci on the 7?
Oh, Ricci's on the 7! It was Suji.
Yep, and that's why it was thrown. Deals in, though, and King gets the 2,000. Oh, my. Look at this hand. South, June, Dora 1, maybe even Chanta shifts. This is another monster draw for Kenyon.
Kenyon has all of the flow right now. Luce's hand not shabby.
Huang could use some work with that hand, and Eric is just fishing for something at this point. Sees the Sanju. Really, though, probably going for the Kokushi at this point. He's probably out of the running here. Having lost that last dealer turn, you're flailing at this point. It's understandable.
There's another 7-pin for Kenyan, kind of fishing. This could be Chitoy. You're Ishanten for Chitoy,
Yep.
as a matter of fact.
You
Ooh.
are. That'd be a disgusting Chitoy. Well, if you weren't East, I definitely keep the East. But as is, I don't mind throwing it. Could Chi that if you're ever going to cut Dora, but doesn't want to.
It'd all be according to how likely you expect to pull in like a 5, 6, 8, or 9-pin at this point.
Right. And the 8-pin's going to be a really hard tile to get, but if you get it, the hand just looks amazing.
Unfortunately, there are no 8-pin left to get. They are all already stuck in hands. Not that
Now you
has
have
that,
to
of
make a
course.
decision. I think the opponent cut 9. Ooh, cuts the 7 Dora. I definitely like the 9 on there a little bit more.
Probably cut it now since it's less likely to deal in at this point.
Right, it's definitely a Sakigiri there. This is one where Kenny's just playing it a little different than normal. Oh.
There's the cheat toy. 5-so, 8-so Tempai for loose on the right.
Across the way. Oh, I want that 7 back so much. Still, Ishinten here for Kenyan. What an ugly shape in Mon. The 2, 4, 6, 8, and the 3's in the discards. You just throw the 2 back, and there it goes.
Yeah, I can't do anything with it.
Oh,
there's another tune.
Here. You wait on the 8. It came out fairly recently, but a late 7 is going to be very suspicious.
2 of them are out.
You do have the Suji 2-pin wait, and that's going to be the play here. The 7's also Suji, but a lot more suspicious.
Yeah, the 7-mon feels like a much better tile to wait on here with all the 8s and 9s in the discard.
Well, that's the answer, and it's dangerous, and there it goes. That's going to be 7,700, I believe.
Indeed.
But the Homba makes it a clean 8,000, and Kenyan is running up the score now.
Yeah, over double the closest competitor.
When you're sitting at 55,000, feeling pretty good here. And has a decent hand here, but not much value unless you get a Dora on the right. Well, how greedy do you want to be with that? There are so many ways to play the hand. You can go Chinitsu, you can go Tanya, you can even cut the 1-mon and sell out on. Now you have so many pairs. You can go Suwanko route across the way. Pinfu, Tanya, maybe an Ipeco on the left. I mean, it feels like the Ipeco in So, but Eric just such in a weird position that it may just be another straight-out Kokushi attempt.
Itsu, perhaps?
Yeah, Itsu. Definitely how I'd play it. But the 6-pin is definitely a play to hedge kind of everything. Oh, and 8's a great fill for Kenyan. It just doesn't even want the door acceptance. Wants to keep this safe east tile.
How tempted would you be if you were to draw, say, 4-mon, 3-mon to change this into a Tanyao?
I'm very sad the 8-pin was discarded now. There goes the Sanchoku.
There's a 4-pin. Huang, thinking about it, does take it, is going to do Tanyao here with 2 Dora.
If Huang ends in second here, even if Kenyan runs the score up, Huang's still in a pretty good position, especially if Luce gets absolutely dumpstered here.
Yeah, if you're close to 30K, even if you're not above it, I mean, it'd be +0. So if you end up less than -5, that's not the end of the world at all.
Right. And that's when you're in that third game. You're considering how can I move things forward and what is my win condition? You should be thinking about it, especially now as you're in that second to last game. So you're not just up against a wall. You're making the decisions for the 4th game right now. That's why you see Eric playing so aggressively for the
On
Kokushi, big attempts. Oh, wow, look
on
at that. We
Tonsu
think
Tenpai, 3-mon, 6-mon, 7-pin.
on 7-pin is Dora. That is Tanya Dora 2 or 3. There is one left in the wall. The 3-6 is actually pretty bad. 3 6s out, and of course 3 3s in the hand. So 1 1 1. I think that sums up to 3.
Last I checked, though, I'm not very confident in it. Eric could still make some sort of Cheetoy nonsense over there.
Yeah,
I
I mean
get
that's
Cheetoy Dora
obviously the play
2.
at this point. I'm amused by the fact that the only tiles in the hand are odd. You have a few floating honors, but ones, threes, fives, and sevens are not even fives anymore. Ones, threes, sevens, and nines were the entirety of that hand. And there's the 5.
Has only had 2 even tiles the
Oh,
whole time.
look at this. Wait,
Oh.
3-sided, or I think that's 4-sided if you take the Mon weight. But no,
Took
it's
the
going to take
So
the
weight
3,
instead.
6, 9.
A lot of the 3-6-9s have already been discarded. There's no 3s left in the wall, no 6s left in the wall, and 1 9 left in the wall. There's literally only 1 tile left in the wall for Kenyon here.
And Huang has a huge incentive to just push. The 8's safe, obviously.
Yeah, had Kenyon taken the Monzu weight,
Would have hit
it
the
would have been
Patsumo on the
on
expensive
the
end,
4
too.
mon.
Ichi Patsumo Pinfu.
It'd be what, 4, 6, 7, 9 weight? No, discarded the 9.
It'd be 4, 6, 9. Yeah, I think that's it.
And 7. 7 also would have.
Oh, yeah, 7. That's the 4-sided. I knew it was 4-sided when I said it. But the big question is, where's that last Dora? Because if Kenyon draws it, this hand could be a disaster.
There's the last 6-mon. That now...
Yeah, Huang just going for it. And I like this. Chase down the dealer here. If you deal in, you deal in. You have the Dora. You have the advantage.
The 3-mon and the 7-pin are both still yet to be found.
Oh, that 8. Safe. It's safe. Fourth discard. Well, there's
your
the
3.
Mon. Will it be Haite?
Nope.
Or Hote? Nope. Oh, and Kenyon looks at that and goes, I probably dodged a bullet there.
As it is, we are going to go into our third Homba here. We're finally getting those repeats.
Yeah, dealer does not have a great hand here. You can even hedge towards Chanta or Sanchoku with this. The 5 Mon especially doesn't do much in this hand. I wonder how it gets played. Well, now you're technically Ishanta, but I don't even want it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
it doesn't want it any
on.
either. Okay, there it goes.
Eric's hand is beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's good enough to just play normally. On the right, we have Luce with a mediocre hand. Not a good one, not a bad one. Possible 4, 5, 6 Sanshoku in there. Across the way, that is a Pinfu, maybe even a Junshan. I like cutting the 6. Yeah, just going for it. I like this. And on the left, that is technically Ishanten for Richi Pinfu Tanyao.
Could still sneak in a Sanshoku, but that would take messing around with the pair some.
Yeah, and I think it's just over with at this point. You can't take perfect. Does not take the perfect Ishanten. You could have just cut the 7 on there.
If you pull in 8-mon, you might discard 6-pin, 7-pin with a 5-pin and 8-pin already discarded to keep the 3-sided weight.
No, if I'm doing that, I'm cutting 2-pin, 3-pin. I'm relying on Sumo. In the meantime, dealer is now Richi Nomi, waiting on pay and 5-pin. This is a disgusting wait.
Yeah, any off-wind pay weight is always going to be trouble.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you chase this down easily. Okay, just knew what was going to be safe later. I got the Sanchoku. That was the play. Huge build in for the value from Eric. It's 2 perfect draws in a row.
Do
It
you even
turns into
take?
Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Sanshuku.
Do
No,
you
I
even
passed
take
the
the
one.
one pin?
I
Yeah.
absolutely passed the one. I didn't even really consider it. Again, if it were game 1, it'd be different, but it's game 3 and you're so far in the dumps at this point.
Oh, and there's
There
the
you
4.
go. You take it. That's the big win. Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Sanshoku. And Ura is Hanemon, doesn't get it. We'll get back over 30,000, at least within striking range. This is definitely what Eric needed. And this is the result, the distribution Eric would be fine with if he can get some more points here. But if he can get first, he doesn't mind if Kenyon gets the second. That's probably to his advantage. And then Huang and Luce just kind of taking big hits.
Both Huang and Luce, though, have to be pretty happy with Kenyon dealing into that Mongon.
Yeah, they're scared that they'd have a 3-way fight and could still end up such, but it means Kenyon won't be way out in front now, especially not getting the plus 20 Uma here as a result, presumably. But at South 3, Dealer is in a call and go situation. An Ishanten, but kind of an ugly headless one here. On the right, we see a bunch of pairs, 4 of them. Could even go Chitoy. Has 2 Dora, though, so I think you take anything you get. Try and turn us into something more direct. Ooh, nice little upgrade there with the 5-step. Across the way, an Anko, few pairs. I mean, it's Ishanten for Ricci, Ipeco, Dora 1. But I'm trying to think of another way to see value, and it's just really not there. In the
probably
meantime, on the
Suanko.
right, well, yeah, that'll always do it. Ooh, 4 pin's a really tough discard. I kind of like just throwing it back. Okay, we'll be going towards the Tanya route most likely. Presumably cutting the 1-1-1-1, unless you draw another one, in which case then you go Sananko. There you have the Haku thrown and discarded on the left. That hand has some good shapes, but it's still a distance away from Tempai. Ooh, and Adora fell in for loose. Now Headless Ishunten can accept a whole host of tiles. I see a Chi on the right. That is now Ishunten. Will presumably take the perfect if you cut the 2. Could also cut the 6 if you're never cutting Dora. I would cut the 6 simply because of the Flurry 10. I don't think it does much for you, but okay. There is the Tempai, and we see the Pon. We have a 3-6 weight and a 4-7 pin weight, both in pin.
Luce's would be Hatsu Dora 1.
Right, and Huang's would be Tanya Dora 2.
And no Sancho.
No Sancho.
That's Mon. It'd be 3, 4, 5 twice in the pin. If only you could substitute one.
Yeah, it's awkward to see, but you don't get credit for it. Oh, and there's a 6. And it's going to look dangerous, but it's not like you can do it. You can't change your weight there. You just deal with it. Tanya Dora 2, and Huang's back over 30,000. Not quite. Sorry, miscounted that. There was no Ricci stick out there. 29.5. So just a little bit under, but no. Why don't we look at just Huang's hand?
This is also pretty good.
It's not like Eric's hand is that bad either with potential Itsu Dora 1. The weakest hand is Luce's, and that's not even that terrible.
Yeah, these are all pretty nice hands. It'll be interesting to see what the players do with them.
Palm? Do you just go?
Palm.
Yeah, let's go. Problem is, one of those sasses probably gets squeezed by Eric going for a monster hand here. Nope. Okay, I figure it'll eventually come out now. The question is, can Huang get to Tempai by then? This would be a huge... Oh, it's Tempai. This South will deal into a Dealer Mongon if it ever flows out. And I think Eric's going to hold it as long as possible. But...
What's making this a Mongon?
Oh, sorry.
There's no Dora.
That is not Dora. I saw the 9 and my eyes got big. That is my mistake.
I mean, 9 so is a fun tile. I mean, I got to give you that.
All right. No, it's just one hand. The hand looks a lot worse than to me. That explains why my eyes got a little big there.
Ooh, does Kenyon toss the Haku? You're Tempai.
Tempai. I mean, you take the win, don't you?
I mean, I would.
No.
Doesn't want it.
Greeting of Shosamo. It doesn't matter. This does get Huang over 30,000, though, so it was a big win. Still in third place, but even if it ended here, Huang would be perfectly fine with this, I think.
And now we have 4 pairs again. Oh, but that 5-mon pool makes that pair of 3-mon and 4-mon look a lot more like runs.
Yeah, it could also get Neopako out of this, but then you wouldn't be able to call the Haku. So could even also be Chitoy. On the right, Eric, that's just Kokushi. You go to Kokushi with this because you need points. And if you don't get it, you don't care. You went down fighting.
8 distinct terminals and honors, so definitely your best shot at a Yakuman yet.
Luz might Daiminkan this. He's very tempted to.
You do need points.
And I will say, Eric is so sad right now.
Yeah.
The Kokushi just dies, just like that.
And then you immediately draw an upgrade, too.
We see the Daiminkan does reveal 6-pin as the new Dora. And can now accept another one if you use 9 as the pair.
Gimmick holding on to that new Dora for a minute. Although we have a headless Ishan 10 for Kenyon across the way.
Yeah, Eric's just trying to figure out, what do I even do with this hand now? And I think it's over at this point. Now we have a Dora draw there for Luz. Probably wants to float onto it, and will do so. I don't like cutting the 9-pin. I like the 9 model a lot more instead, because it doesn't do anything in the hand right now.
Yeah, right now you're forcing that 8-9 to continue.
Well, you're almost forcing Chanta Sanshoku Dora 1.
If you draw a 9, so cut, yeah.
Right.
All right,
so
Huang getting rid of the Dora.
There. Well, now we see if it is forced where the Tempai is taken. We'll just take the Tempai. It will just be south and no other Han. The question is, can you hit someone to knock them under 30K? And let's see, how much would this be?
It's not enough.
I don't think, well, hold on. 16, 20. It'd be a 1600 Roan plus 300 Homba. So if you get a direct hit on Huang, it would drag Huang under.
Right, the Homba is what does it. We do have 5-mon Tempai for Kenyon. No Yaku, though.
Yeah, no Yaku. No reason to play that one. No reason to reach you that for sure. An upgrade, though, and you may be very tempted. Oh, that is a disgusting weight. I'm smashing the buttons so hard.
I love that Sotagawa trap there.
That is just a filthy weight. Well, there's a 4, and then you cut the 4-pin. Possible Sun Anko route now. Now it's a 3-6 weight for Kenyon, and we'll hit the button now. Could Chi for Temp. Oh my.
Wow.
Do you Richi? Do you Dama? Just Richi's here with the 1-4 weight. 1-4 is actually pretty bad, only 2 left, and the 3-6 is actually not as bad as it looks. 4 left.
There's a 1.
There's one of the ones, and there's
a 4. Oh my God, that's
going to be in first place. That's Sun Anko. Riichi Sun Anko Haku doesn't need the Oradora, is at 44-9, and Huang is taking control of this championship, knocking Kenyon from a relatively safe position back down to basically where she was. If the scores end like this, Kenyon will have a slight positive, but be really far behind Huang, who'll be sitting there around plus 60, plus 70.
Yeah, if you're Kenyon at this point, your whole mission is you have to pass Huang.
But Huang is not done yet and building for a ton of value here. Potential Riichi, Pinfu, Tanyaoi Peiko, maybe a 678 Sanjuku in there somewhere on the right. Eric probably going for Chinitsu. Across the way, Kenyon's hand is just kind of a mess. 7-pin would make it a little bit better. It's still a mess. And on the left, Luce has a Dora pair, so I think you just call and go with this. You're looking for a value, but just take what you can get. Try and drag someone else under 30K at least.
Yeah. You can, if you sumo a Mongon, that does bring Kenyon underneath 30K, which would effectively be 13 more points for you, since it would save you 5 UMA.
It's not a win condition, so to say, but it's a huge boost. Because you're just not in a great position.
Eric has such an interesting hand now. It's just so awkward with 4 Tumon in hand.
Eric's playing for Suanko.
I think you
Again,
have to.
Eric needs value. And you were hoping to get some Montile draws, but there's just nothing. You look at that pawn, there's nothing there. I can chi this.
Chi.
You chi, let's cut the 1-2. Yeah, there we go.
Ishanten now for Huang.
Ishunten for Eric. No, not Ishunten. You have that weird con shape with a 2-2-2-2-3. Now Tempai for dealer.
That's Ishanten for Eric. It's a perfect Ishanten, as a matter of fact.
Well, you just con. Now it's Tempai.
Yep, the two months, the Dora.
To 4 Dora.
Wow.
Ricci, Tanya, Dora 4. This is a comeback hand. A sumo here will take first. A Roan would take first even.
Because you'd have so 12,000 plus 1,600. Yep.
Yep.
3 mon, 4 pin. There's only 1 4 pin left in the wall. Luce is holding 3 out of Eric's 4 winning tiles.
I imagine this could be a shape upgrade to push the 8. There it goes. Tempai on the left, waiting on that Dora. The Haku would be a Mongon deal in. That 7 feels so
Tempai.
bad. It gets pushed anyway.
Luce's hand isn't Tempai. Yeah.
I keep expecting it to be Tempai because Luce has always been Tempai.
Huang is Tempai, though, waiting for the 4-7, so. And there it is. Oh, God.
That's just how the whole series has gone for Eric, is you finally get a glimpse of hope and just deal into a Tanya. And as a result, that is probably the death knell for Eric. It was getting a little bad before, but I think that's just the sign that it's over. So Huang, though, certainly in command of this series and potentially the table. Now you're dreaming, if I get a decent sumo here, I have 3 under 30K. They may not be able to catch me next game, no matter what happens.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to stop fighting here. Unless somebody throws out a dangerous Ricci and you're nowhere close. Because even Hanuman Sumo... Well, Hanuman Sumo from Kenyan or Eric would be enough.
Is just go for it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's definitely been effective. And that's how he won the season in A1. They got him to this championship match. And has a pretty good hand here. Ricci, Pinfu, Ipeko, Dora 2 potentially.
Just waiting on that 7 mon is not
7
great.
mon's going to be difficult, but everything else just, you can see that that's where the hand wants to go. The question is, will the wall play along? And it's not doing so. Meanwhile, I have a Rian Shanten across the way. Looks like decent shape on the left. Potential 4-5-6 Sanchuku there as well. And on the right, it's a bit of a mess, honestly. But Eric has to be playing weird at this point. I mean, you have to build for some sort of value. And a Hanuman Sumo would be enough. So you're dreaming Chitoi. You're hoping to draw a 7 pin or even just Ricci Sumo Chitoi or a 2.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to accept a Rowan at that point, and you are getting closer.
I mean, this is the way to play it, and the 9's basically dead now, so there it goes. I think Eric just flat out plays for Chitoi. I don't think there's any other hand you accept.
Huang's hand still just kind of futzing around, not making any meaningful progress
the
here.
5, so there. Cut the 9, you just go Tanya Ishanten there for Kenyan. I probably would have.
To preserve second?
Yeah, just get your second, say...
The issue, though, plus 6.3, if Huang gets plus 33 here, which is currently what it would be.
Right.
And you only get plus 1.3, you'd be 60 behind Huang. You
have to hope Huang will take a hit, because I don't think you're getting value out of this hand.
Not out of this hand, but if you assume Huang keeps pushing, maybe he gets another cheap hand and you have another shot next hand.
Well, we'll see if Eric has something to say about it. Oh yeah,
Does
see
pull
now
in
you'd be
another
Tempai.
2-so.
And if I'm Eric, I'm dreaming Suanko, so that's why the 6 comes out. At this point, you have to dream. Meanwhile, I have a nice little East Shunten on the left. Actually headless. Doesn't want to push this 8 yet. And that 6 is a really weird tile. You cut the 4, 6. Yep, there it goes.
Yeah, that's a really
Would
nice
be
Pinzu shape.
right. Ricci, Ipeco, Dora. Maybe even Pinfu if you get the 7-mon now.
So you call Ricci if you're Huang and you get to Tempai here waiting on 7-mon?
Who do you think you're talking to?
Listen, I have to ask.
Now, I see the pawn there for Eric, trying to get at least to Tempai here to get some points out of this, maybe steal second.
Huang might not even get to Tempai.
That's not going to help. You cut the south anyway, though.
If you're Huang and you have a
We
shot
may
at
have
Tempai,
no one Tempai at the end of this hand.
even with people trying.
I have headless Ishan on. Well, I think it's Chi. I'd Chi cut 5.
I don't think I would take it here. Yeah, I think I pass. Oh, but Huang disconnects.
Jeez.
Might not even be a purposeful pass of the 8-pin.
Oh, you do see the K10 on the right. I think you just cut 4-3 here. Now we'll throw the 6 instead.
It is safe against
Still
Eric.
Shunten on the left. And that's not Tempai. That is Tempai, though. So Lewis is at least going to get something here. But Eric's going to see it. And this does knock Kenyon under 30K. So Lewis, not really what you wanted, but you did complete your job of salvaging someone else under 30K. But Huang, the winner here, 31.5, going to be in a commanding position going into game 4. In second place, Eric with 6 points, getting K10 there at the very end. Kenyon just folding out at minus 5.2 falls under 30K. Will be in slight negatives, I believe, going into the last match. And Lewis taking a huge hit, minus 32.9, but does at least mitigate the damage a little bit, dragging Kenyon under 30K.
Yeah, Loose is barely going to be positive here with that minus 32.9. That's going to put Loose at plus 0.2. So Huang is above everybody by over 60.
Wong, basically, it just don't take fourth and you win. That's all there is to it.
Now, we have seen several, if you go to in the ARML Discord where the standings are and you scroll down to the bottom, you can see all of the biggest rounds anybody has had. And the 5th highest score anyone in the ARML has gotten was Ada, who got a plus 92.4. And obviously the other scores are all bigger than that. Anybody could come back with one of those. So it's not like it's impossible. It's just Huang has a very clear goal.
Well, Huang had the great distribution. The main competition took last place. The potential comeback was Kenyon, who still fell under 30K and took a small negative, and Eric just barely escaping with 6.6. And that, if you're Huang, this is the perfect game 1 end result. It would have been, I guess, maybe a little bit better if you keep everyone under 30K, but this is still great. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the order you want to take control of everything.
Yeah, it could not have aligned more perfectly for Huang, and it did not look like this was going to be the outcome even going into South 3. It was a very all last turn of events here, which actually is kind of what happened in the first game, I believe, when Huang got the Baimon Sumo
I think that
towards
was
the
the
very end of the
second
game.
game.
So Huang has been turning things around very deep into these Hanchans.
And the end result is we're going to have a game in a couple minutes here. But a great lead here for Huang. You haven't clinched it yet, but you're starting to feel it.
Yeah, and it does look like they are starting in approximately a minute.
They started about 4 minutes ago, so we will see them any minute now.
The good old Tenho loading screen.
There it is. Says it'll be in a minute. So we've kind of gone over everything already. If you're Eric, you're just playing for Yakuman. So
Is
the interesting situation is everyone else knows Eric to just be playing for Yakuman, especially if it's not his dealer turn. So you can probably ignore him most of the time until you start seeing some very dangerous overflow. Loose, though, just needs to build big hands. Same for Kenyon. They're kind of in the same position here, way back, and everyone needs to dumpster, absolutely destroy Huang in order to be able to overtake here, because a big win probably isn't going to be enough. You need Huang to lose a bunch of points too.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get it at both sides. You need the positive and the negative. You need double work being done there. Is this the exact same seating arrangement as Hanchan number 3?
Let's see. Eric was first. Luce was. I don't know if Luce and Kenyon. No. Yeah, I think Luce and Kenyon swapped.
There's the
But we
gong.
are in each one. That's already looking like a good dealer hand here for Eric. My goodness. That's a
Wow,
one,
one,
two,
two, three,
three Sanchoku.
Sanchoku.
Well, the thing is, Eric's kind of in the position where you almost want to force the Junshan out of this. Oh, that's a backfire. I was thinking of that. I want to cut the Tumon right away just in case I pair up that South. Because I don't really think the 9 for the Itsu helps much. I want to turn this into Junshan if I possibly can. But now the hand's going to basically play itself. But also, you could be Ricci here. For Ricci, Pinfu, Dora, possible Sanshoku. Although the 1 are starting to die off now. And look at the
Still
hand on
2
the
left.
right. Speaking of fun ones,
Wow.
that's probably going to be okay. Not even
Ooh.
buying the Chi toy,
Wow.
just going
Well,
for the value.
not buying Honroto either. Those are all very callable tiles.
Across the way, that's a nice little hand there as well. Ricci, Tanyao, maybe to Peiko if you do some shifting, but unlikely. And on the left, a Haku pair and a few Kanchans. I think you just call and go with a hand like that. There are some people who just flat out fold, especially in Huang's current position.
Luz pulled in another one, so and there's all right. So now we're headed towards Honitsu Chitoi for Luz.
Wow. And this is just what Loose does, is just pulls value out of nowhere. 3 straight draws just like that, and all of a sudden the hand is gorgeous.
Eric's still searching for Tempai here. Just needs a pair.
Senpai on the right.
Wow. I would have taken the West weight.
There, it's the one cut tune versus the live West, I believe.
Ooh, and there's the
Says,
chase.
I don't care, but this is just waiting on the tone.
The
And
tone
there are
or
2 of those on the right. We're going to see another chase,
from
3-sided
Kenyon.
Senpai, and
Oh,
this tune may
no.
come out right here.
I think you toss well either the Chun or the Haku.
Oh, the
Oh, the
on the
side
5. Great dodge there from Wong. That's how you stay in the championship position, is you don't throw that tune. If that tune comes out, Huang is all of a sudden fighting for his life. A
Wow.
great dodge there by Huang.
And Kenyon starting off the way she wants to.
It's at least a Mungon off of Eric there. Dealer here is loose, has kind of a Pinfu hand. You really want to draw Dora here. Hey, just draw Dora. Easy game. On the right, heading towards a Pinfu, maybe an Itsu there as well. Across the way, Pinfu Tanya. You do have that north pair. Probably going to cut that later, though, given you already have the 4-pin pair. And on the left, I mean, it's Eric. Eric's going to be playing very random hands, fishing for any sort of value, because a plus 20 is the same as a minus 80 in this position.
It's just a matter of how you feel about it afterwards. Lou still only has 4 shapes here.
Well, there's some pretty good ones here, and especially in an Onko, your 5th shape is just your pair. So it's the 8-mon, the 1-so, or the East is still your last shape.
And no Easts have come into anyone else's hands yet, so could still hope for the double tone.
There goes the pay for Huang, just going for the Tanya, the extra value here. The problem is that 1-so discard. Okay, just brute forcing Tanya now. That's done
you
by...
could well, but it'd be for a 10.
No, it wouldn't. You wait on the 7.
Wait on the 7.
Look at how good 7
That's
is
true.
with that discard.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful
the issue is if you toss 2-so, now you've discarded no Pinzu, and people might be worried about a Honitsu. But does that 7-pin come out?
So the issue is you also have a bunch of Mon tiles to shift to.
That's true. Like you could still change it later.
Yeah, and you're planning on that anyway. But I think the 7's good for maybe a turn or two more, but not
like
any
the
longer.
East. Doesn't take the East. I would have. Well, you can't. There's no Yaku. Yeah, the East isn't a simple tile.
The East is always a Yaku, except when it's a pair.
Oh, and now there's the
second door here for lose. Yeah, imagine the 3 comes out here, and then it's going to be Ishan 10. We'll throw the 8 later. Hatsu doesn't work. And yeah, still Furi-ten on that 2-5. And when you're in Totsu Furi-ten, that means there just aren't that many of your winning tiles because you have 3 of them.
What? This is Nobutan.
No! The 7!
The 7-pin! Did switch to it.
And now a different Furi-ten. And this one feels a lot worse. Oh my.
Oh,
and now if you were just throw the 7.
Oh no, but there's 2 cut.
And the 8 looks bad. But it is safe against the dealer.
Ooh, Lou's tossing away the... Okay, favoring...
Right, because another run on the left came. Han. Oh, and that's a great upgrade.
Yeah, 3-mon, 6-mon finally gets there somehow.
Yeah, needed the extra draw. The Khan could come back to bite Huang, though.
Flips over west as the Dora, which doesn't help anybody.
Oh, there was that last 7-pin.
Sumo. There's the 3!
Tanyao and Huang definitely pulls that hand together. There were a whole lot of ways to win and did eventually get it. Ace 3 and Kenyon's here's dealer has a Dora Pinfu shape. The tiles aren't great here. On the right, 5, 6, 7 Sanjuku look to me like the plan. There are other ways to play it, but I'm dreaming Sanjuku. Across the way, Eric's probably going Chitoi Honitsu. That's probably what I played, especially with the score he's in. And on the left, you're dreaming 2, 3, 4 Sanjuku, but it's probably not there. So if you're loose, you're just building towards Tempai, preferably pulling in a 1-mon Dora at some point.
Eric does keep the 3, 4, 5-pin shape, though. Obviously has calls turned off. There was no hesitation whatsoever on the Chun discard. But I do feel like you almost have to go for the Honitsu Chitoi, just like you've said, for the value. I mean, on the Ricci, it's a guaranteed Hanamon. A very possible Baimon.
Well, may also just passively be folding out. Maybe has given up on the whole championship altogether at this point. Wouldn't be unreasonable considering the current position. But I'm still fighting until I've lost my last dealer.
And we are still in the East round here. Gimmick now with 4 pairs as well.
Well, Hong wants Sanshoku, and that's like the worst tile to draw for Sanshoku. Just yeets the Dora, says forget it. Doesn't fit in this hand, let's just go. The value there is probably the Peiko, or of course the Dream Rion Peiko.
The Dora does fit into Luce's hand. And now a 2-mon drawn for Kenyon to make the 1-mon potentially useful.
If I'm Hong, I'm just folding at this point. This just isn't budging. Meanwhile, we have a Dama across the way, a Chitoi just waiting on the 4-pin. That is technically Ishanten for dealer. Oh, well, that's a dead weight. You can't wait on the 1.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that looks so good. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. Oh. I know I've done that before, and it feels really bad.
Ooh, the 6-mon comes out of Kenyon's hand. The 3-mon is close to Dora, so Suji probably won't be trusted anyway, but if Kenyon is able to draw into the Ryoncon, would now have the Suji trap set.
Ishanten on the right now. And that's not the tie you're looking for. You could cut, I don't know, 5 still looks okay. Yeah, 6 is basically the same thing.
6-pin switch now for Eric.
No, and all these tiles in so for Kenyon. So many ways to make Tempai, but couldn't cut away from this 1-2 Dora block.
Each.
There's the Tempai that Eric was waiting for. Ricci Chitoi waiting on the 9-pin.
The 4-pin is safe there.
The Hong sees the 4-5 being safe. I don't see any reason to throw anything else. We have Dama on the left for Pinfu Dora 1, waiting on 4-7. I'm trying to think of what the upgrade there is.
1 Forso left in the wall. I mean, I guess if you draw a 4-mon, that would be Tanyao. But you'd be tossing away a Dora, so it's not like... I guess if you draw another Dora, you could discard 4-mon, and then you have Pinfu Dora 2, but that's not incredibly likely.
I feel that's a little too much thinking. I just hit shiny buttons. That is Tempai on the right. The 5 is safe entry if you want to wait on the 7. So the 7 so is actually dead though. 2 discarded, 2 in Eric's hand. So that weight is dead. And now we see the chase. That's what Luce was looking for. Waiting for Huang. Oh, just so well.
That gives Eric the flow power he needed to get the
extra Ricci sticks and is now on a 2nd place, back over 30,000. Ooh, and look at Huang starting in here. Do you just go Kokoshi? Nah, the more I look at it, the less I like that. You just go.
Yeah.
Call and go with Hatsu.
Yeah, this hand is perfectly fine. You have 2 very callable pairs.
Good. And your Yakuhai as well.
Although the Yakuhai is Mochi Mochi, not that Huang knows that. Eric with 2 of the Hatsu on the right.
Pin. Very aggressive first discard. I'm usually cutting the pay here. All right,
I mean, if you hard push Chanta here, you don't have to get the Hatsu.
Well, yeah, you do still want the 7 anyway. On the right, though, yeah, we have the Hatsu pair, a few other pairs, but Eric's probably just going Chitoi again. Across the way, there's an East pair, and Huang has the 3rd of those, which will presumably come out. The rest of the hand doesn't have any value, though. And on the left, a few pairs. Just feels like a Tanya hand. You have a floating door as well. Huang's hand is kind of a mess at this point. And I'd definitely be keeping the 2 because I'm hedging towards 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 4 Sanjiku. I don't think the 6 adds anything,
Yeah,
especially the earlier 7 pin discard.
either of those would be nice. Just to have some other Yaku
Well,
to
yeah,
add to his
Huang
hand.
tunnel visioned on Hatsu this hand and may end up getting punished for it because we know it was Mochi Mochi at the start, but there were so many ways to turn this into a Chanta and just wasn't ever going for them. See, even here, I want to cut the 7 mon and keep safe tiles. I've given up. I would have given up on
Ooh,
this.
Tenpai across the way for
Ricci.
loose. Gonna
That's
call
an
Ricci
easy
on the
Ricci.
Forso.
Ricci East, possible
Gee.
Dora. And if it wins, it will be on the Dora as all the 9s are out, except the one for Eric, which I can't imagine that ever flows out. Oh, well, it might if you get towards Suwanko.
Ooh, just
But no,
tosses the
not going
7.
for it. Just throws the 7. It is Suji. He is probably just giving up on this hand. 4 is already passed. Oh. Oh. It's not like the 9 can ever integrate in that hand unless you go Sun Anko.
I mean, that could always be the Tanki in the Suwanko Tanki.
Well, it's dead. That's the problem. There's a pawn
So
of
you
9,
so you throw it out anyway. Yeah.
yeah, it's useless to you. But okay, now you can go Sun Anko anyway.
Ooh, Gimmick gonna take this Hatsu? Nope, doesn't. Passes.
Yeah, and I like
Doesn't want to
just
take a
passing
chance.
that one. Get your 2 safe tiles out of this. This hand isn't worth going for. Well, that is Tempai on the right, just waiting on 8 so. No Yaku, though. Plan here is probably draw the Dora Ricci Furi 10 with the 5-8, but it's Furi 10 already.
Still 2 more Dora in the wall for Loose to pick up.
I think we froze here, at least on stream here. Okay, there it goes.
There it is.
And it's the Dora. That's a Mongon. And the Aura, it doesn't matter, but that's going to get Loose back into first place.
And while you really don't prefer that if you're Huang, I mean, the fact that different people keep winning all these hands and the score keeps bouncing around is definitely to his benefit.
Right. Izzo in 4th place now. And a small 4th is still okay as long as someone just doesn't run away with it. And it's very interesting that Huang is 4th dealer. That gives you the ability to just break Tempai in South 4 and force everyone to not have to bounce around, just play that one hand. You know, do we have a disconnect from Kenyon?
It does appear that way. And we see the others trying to give her time to get back here. Eric, meanwhile, is Ishanten.
No, 2 disconnects. What's going on here?
That is wacky. And I imagine Luce is just using up timer, trying to give them time to come back. Yeah, that's a Tadashi, so
right.
It's not like all of Tenho is broken.
Well, you have one West Coast player, one East Coast player disconnected, one West Coast player, one East Coast player that are live. These players are 2 from Richinomi, New York City, and 2 from Seattle.
Got kind of a duel of the coasts here. Looks like Huang is back.
Yep, just Kenyon now. Meanwhile, dealer's already in Ishan 10. This is a pretty good, would have been a really good starting hand for, oh, there we go. Kenyon's back. And honestly, you haven't lost much. You probably go Honitsu and So with this anyway. You did miss the East call, which is pretty bad, but the rest of this is workable anyway.
Yeah, I mean, dealer's been Ishanten since draw. Just Eric continuing to not get improvements that he needs. This is
Ishan on the
Ishan 10.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taking a second to read it there. Could get 4, 5, 6. Well,
no, because you're gonna have to get a pair. If you're gonna do that, you have to cut elsewhere. And there's the Hatsu call for Kenyan. And you have to go Honetsu with this, don't you? You need value. You can't just win this game. You have to have a big win.
yeah, it
there's
does
the hard
discard.
sell.
Each.
There's
Finally,
Tempai
Tempai
for
for Eric.
waiting on 3/6 Mon. And it is actually terrible. 1 6 Mon and 2 3 Mon. So not the worst, but not very good. Meanwhile, Kenyan's developing towards a real hand here.
Yeah, a couple of good draws in a row is all you need.
Now you can get Itsu if you get the 2, the 8, and the 9. That 3's so bad, though. Wait, no, the 3 came out before the... Yeah, earlier. Huang threw into this with a 3. Boy, that's an aggressive push with the door indicator.
Especially, like, dealing into dealer at this point for Huang would be absolutely tragic.
Well, there's one of those 3s that was looked for by Eric. Lewis is done with this hand. And I don't even think the 5 helps much. I guess you can chi it and cut maybe Haku.
Chi.
This does move you to Ishan 10.
Sumo.
Nope, just Sumo.
Are we going to see an Urasan?
No Ura. You do get extra food from all those Onko in the hand, but first place and not by a whole lot.
And you need a lot more than that.
Brute Force Chanta. Chanta, Dora 3 South. That's what I'm doing with this. But yeah, that's the play. Goes with the 5, so I imagine 5 Mon's going to be the next cut. Similarly, you have awkward shape where you kind of want to go 1, 2, 3 Sanchiku on the right as well. Yeah, Eric's just going Jun-chan. If the tiles show up later for a Kokushi, you'll go that way, but they're just not here yet. Across the way, Pinfu Taipan, a little slow though. And on the left, Pinfu Tanya hand, probably the best of the table. And just not much value there either. But you have that floating Dora. So the big question is who pairs up the South, or does anyone? Everyone just end up folding. And there goes the 9-mon. Eric's going full speed ahead for Jun-chan here. Of course, if you pair up the Dora, then you have all sorts of ways to move this hand.
Oh, and that's a good draw.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised the pay is being kept here. It doesn't do anything for his hand. Whereas the 2, if you get rid of the 2, you're giving up on 1, 2, 3 Sanchiku, which is one of your paths to value here, to where you wouldn't even necessarily need the South.
If the 4 or 5 hadn't already been thrown, yeah, I mean it's with those in your discard pile, it's kind of too late to go for Honitsu.
Well, you had
That's Tempai.
There's
for
our
Kenyan.
Tempai. No Yaku though.
Chi.
And there's the Chi. Still a long way away for Eric. And Kenya's looking for any sort of way to upgrade.
That's an upgrade, but it's not
an upgrade, but it's reaching Nomi. You're looking for something a little bit better, I think.
That would work. That would give you Pinfu.
Yeah, well, the 4/6 is kind of bad, but I guess you take it.
So 4 pin, 7 pin for Kenyan for Riichi Pinfu.
Yep, 1 4-pin left. All the 7 pins still in the wall. And if you're Eric, you just push. You don't care. You shouldn't care. You fight to defend your last dealer to the death.
Drew all 4 8-mon. There's a 4 pin.
You can throw the safe 9. Nope, gonna deal in here. Riichi Pinfu. And the aura, and that's gonna put Kenyan into first place here, and it's another hit off.
More importantly for both Kenyan and Luz, Gimmick now is the only person beneath 30K. This is exactly the situation you needed to happen. If either Kenyon or Luz can keep Huang below 30K, and you actually don't want to drop anyone else beneath 30K.
Right, you're in the awkward position where you need tons of points, but you also don't even want to lock Eric under 30K. So dealer here has the East pair, and the rest of your shapes aren't great. You're thinking maybe I can hedge it towards Chanta eventually, but just breaking the penchant right away. On the right, we have Kenyon with what'll eventually be a pin foo shape, but it's a long way off with two penchant overlap in pin needing with a 1-2-4-5. Across the way, we have a few pairs. You'd love to go Tanya with that if you can cut the pay pair. And on the left, we have two Onko, so I know what Eric's playing. You get two more of those, you're in business. And if you're Eric, you've lost your last dealer turn. You just go.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do now but Yakuman.
Well, that's a nice little upgrade across the way for Huang. Does make Tanya a lot harder, though, considering you now have the 9887.
What do you think of the Katagiri 1-mon from Kenyon on the right? Last turn. Okay,
I
throwing the
don't
2-mon
know.
now.
Something disappeared in front of me. Let's see.
Kenyon had
one
1-1 had 1-1-2 and discarded the 1-mon from hand instead of the one that was drawn, and then discarded 2-mon.
It's one where
Just
you're very
getting rid of the
clearly
whole shape.
indicating the table you're giving up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, now Huang has a possibly Peiko Dora one hand.
Ishanten for loose now is betting on getting the Easts.
Man, I don't see a reason for the East not to come out. Well, there's a big draw. Now you could go in Totsu. You cut the 4-pin here, yeah. I imagine Huang would reach you on the Intotsu if it came. Well, now the 9's kind of bad. And that's technically Tenpai for loose, but I can't imagine it being taken yet.
Yeah, the 2-so is your pair.
Right. Well, there's Tenpai. Do you take the Peiko? You could Dama it if you want, or you could take the Intotsu. The Intotsu isn't as good as it normally look because the 9 is dead. You're waiting on the 2-so and 6-mon, and those are not coming from the hands they are in.
Oh, no. Yeah, every single tile, like, not a 1 left in the wall. It will be interesting to see how everyone fights against this, though. I mean, if you're loose, I imagine you do, again, you just have to push. Well, you don't really have to.
Yeah, you do. You need points.
You need points.
Well, this is when you're pulling your calculator up and seeing how many do I need. And I think you're going to need more than a plus 30, even with these scores.
Well, if you get a plus 30, right now, Gimmick is at a minus 31.6.
Right, but I don't think it's going to stay there. Yeah, I think you're going to need a little bit more. So I think you just, well, there you go. Now you take it. You always take it.
Now you have your Tenpai. Waiting on 3-pin, 6-pin.
Could also get a Dora. Yeah, 6-pin looking not that bad on the wall, actually. 2 outs, a 2 left.
And still a 3-pin left in the wall.
Is that Tenpai on the right? It is. Wait, no, it's not. That's baiting me with an Ipeco. It's not actually Tenpai. Oh, wow. Oh no. You can't throw it. You're not Tenpai. There's no reason to throw it.
Yeah.
You throw 3-so here, probably. Yeah, there it goes.
All right, so we're going to have a repeat here.
Loose into first place. And Loose does get another hand here. And this is a much better one. Look for that Ricci Pin Food Aura 1. A 3-so would really help. Could even just end up with a Shumpon 4-so Shaw. On the right, you have so many disconnected honors. The rest of the hand's great, especially with 2 Dora. But it's going to take a bunch of draws to get anything from it. Across the way, that's a Pin Fu hand, maybe a Tanyao. I think you just get anything you can there. Maybe an Itsu, but gives up the 9 Mon right away. On the left, though, we have a very interesting hand brewing.
I mean, you have 9 distinct terminals and honors.
Well, you're
2
hedging
Easts are
towards.
already gone.
Yeah, well, that's just it. You're hedging towards Shosushi, but you're also hedging towards Kokushi. You don't have to get either of those up yet. Well, there's Adora. I imagine it gets thrown. I imagine it gets called.
Yeah, toss of the 8-0 first. All right, gonna go for Honitsu.
Honitsu, yeah. Kind of, not kind of, very awkward having already cut that 4 Mon in hand.
Huang
Well,
away the
could turn it into an
shape.
Itsu there for Eric. And you see all these discards and loses pawn. You're like, maybe I should have gone Chitoy. Okay, so we're not done yet with Eric.
I mean, the show Sushi is still alive, technically.
We see Shunton here for loose.
Nothing you can call. We'll have to pull in the tiles yourself, and these aren't incredible shapes.
I think I'd have just sheed that 4 Mon and just gone Tanya there for Huang. It's not give any real defense with it. Oh, there's Tempai. You smash this button immediately. Waiting on 9-pin Shaw.
If there's one 9-pin left in the wall, both of the Shaw obviously in Eric's hand to the left.
We also see a Chitoy Ishunten on the right. Richi Tanya Chitoy Dora 2. That's a hand worth going for. But you have to get that last tile.
Gimmick denied Ishanten across the way after that Ricci. Tossed the 8-so instead of the drawn 8 Mon.
The thing about the Shaw is it is live, so Eric may be a little skeptical about it.
Yeah, you would think that the Hatsu and the Non would come out first. Well, the Haku before that, now that it's been drawn.
Right.
From Kenyon's perspective, the 9-pin is Kabe.
Well, now the Non comes out, and Eric's breathing a sigh of relief. Can fold this out if he wants.
Still looking for that last 9-pin.
And Kenyon just can't get to Tempai. That's always the curse of Chitoy. Oh, and there's one of those 9s that falls into Eric's hand, and it's not coming out. There's no way. The South's going to be the last discard here. Or I guess Hatsu if it just comes out like that. And no, Kenyon doesn't make it. Luce gets another 3,000.
And Huang losing 1,000. Extra beneficial for Luce there.
Oh, look at this hand for Luce.
Have a floating Dora. All 2 complete shapes in the Sozu already.
2 completed shapes in So. Great floaters and a Dora. On the right, we have the South pair. That's just a call and go, especially with the Dora and double Yakuhai. Across the way, not much there. You see the pair, but honestly, everything is so disconnected. And on the left, you just force Chanta probably.
Kokushi?
Maybe Kokushi. Like, everything's bad.
8 distinct terminals and honors, probably as good as you're going to see, more than likely. Has gotten it a few times, actually, Eric has.
Right.
Last time the South got conned. Well, there's your 9th one. Now you're almost certainly going Kokushi.
And a pair up for loose. This hand's getting there quickly. I imagine if you are king, you cut 5-7 here.
That is your worst shape.
No,
Tossing
cuts
the
the south.
south.
Probably reading that Eric is never getting rid of his, so there's only one left. We know it's in Huang's hand. And meanwhile, Lou says, you know what? There's 2,600 in the middle. I don't care if it's just Tanya. I want to go.
Yeah, and Luce just wants to put together repeats anyway.
Yeah. Just win hand. That's all you need to do.
And she's probably making the correct assumption that she has the fastest hand at the table. Although Kenyon is nipping on her
stuck in
heels.
Ishan 10 is going to need the 6, but I don't think the 6 ever comes. Even if Ricci is, even if you get there with, oh,
Yeah,
there's Tempai.
There's Tempai, 2-pin, 5-pin.
Those 6s are just never coming out, ever. You might see one from Huang, but even that seems fairly unlikely.
There's no 2-pin left in the wall, but still 3 5-pin left in the wall for Luz here. Oh, well, a 7-pin might
may
force
come
the
out
6
now.
out.
Yeah, that was your chance to get the 6. Meanwhile, that Kokushi's building on the left, Eric's actually getting a little close now. Still waiting on that 2-5. There are 4 in the wall. It's a great weight.
Kenyon could kill the Kokushi here. Kenyon has the final Shah.
And just stuck. Look at those draws. They're terrible. The 7 show's okay, but everything else is just awful. I might see Huang push and deal in with 1 2-pin. Throws the 8 first. Oh, that's technically Ishan 10.
And could still get 5-6-7 Sanshoku, as a matter of fact.
Oh, that's a terrible draw for Kenyon. Had deliberately cut the Tumon and kept that safe tile and punished heavily for it.
The Kokushi now officially dead with the final Shah discarded.
And believe me, Eric knows that. There go the discards. Well, you could cut. Yeah, I like the 7 there. Because now you can cut the 3-mon or even get the Ipeco. That's Tempai.
Discarding
definitely smash the button here. Yeah.
1-pin, 4-pin.
Against 2-pin, 5-pin.
One 1-pin left in the wall. Oh, and there's
there
a 4.
It's Ipatsu!
Oh. Wow.
Ricci, Ipatsu, Pinfu, Tanya, Dora.
No Ura.
So that's very important. Kenyon does get 42,600. So this is when we have to do math. And doing math on stream is always a fun time.
Yeah, Kenyon in a good position here still needs more points. Like, this is not enough points.
This is not enough.
She's at about plus 27, and Gimmick is at about minus 27.
Yeah, Kenyon's actually at minus 3.8. So we're going to need a total differential of 69.7. So you figure if things end as they are here, there would be a 30 UMA split. So that's still a lot of spread you're going to need.
Yeah, about 18 more thousand points to be exact.
Or more likely, try for 3 under 30K.
And then you only need 13,000 more points.
Which is actually a lot more reasonable.
Yeah. And with this hand, you just don't have, like, you're really far along already, but the 8-9 Mon and the 8-9 pin leave a lot to be desired, other than the fact that the 8-9 pin incorporates Dora 7.
Wong actually cut the 1-so there, and I definitely like going for Itsu with this. Oh, and you feel so bad about the Itsu, but still Ishanten now. Across the way, we have a south pair building towards Itsu in Mon as well. On the left, that is a play for Honitsu, maybe even Chinitsu, because Luz needs points. Losing a last dealer turn, and you need, what, Yakuman plus at this point? Meanwhile, dealer's Senpai on 3-pin. would just be Chunomi. I imagine if the 6-mon comes out, you Daiminkan. But that seems pretty stuck in Eric's hand at this point. And Lou's given the option, do you call the pay? And the answer is no.
If Eric just needs a 6-pin or a 6-0 to be Tenpai for Sanshoku Dora 1.
Now, can see a switch here to the Shampon.
And does.
This also gives you the option, if you draw another 8, you can then wait on the Dora. And interesting hand developing there for Lou. So, I mean, you still cut the 2-2-3 regardless.
Oh, right. You gotta cut away from that shape.
Yeah, there's the Sumo.
9-pin.
You do not get the Sun Anko with that Chun Pon, but a bunch of food there. And Eric's still barely over 30K. And wow, look at this dealer hand.
That's incredible.
2 Dora, Tanyao, maybe even a 3-4-5 Sanchku in there. That's beautiful. On the right, Pinfu, but a long way off. Across the way, 789 Sanchoku is probably the path. You can also get a Dora. And on the left, I don't know. You need points, and that is not the hand to give you points.
Gimmick disconnected again. Has been able to get back relatively quickly every time this has happened so far.
And back already. This is technically Yishun, Tim, but do you really want that Penchon? It looks like it. I'm surprised 3-5 was cut from this hand for Kenyon.
Were the 3-5 in hand simultaneously?
Well, there's a Dashi 8-7 so in there somewhere. So I think something weird happened. Well, what about Jinitsu?
You could always just get
that. That would be the way to come back. That is the way to come back.
You don't have to push it. You only need about 13 more thousand points here. Dealer Mongon's a perfectly good start. You don't have to get all of your points at once.
But if you draw, say, 3-pin, then you just dream. Then you just go.
Or you're going to drop 9-mon first. Yeah.
Yeah. Ricci, Dora 2. Could also draw a third Dora. All 6 remaining outs are in the wall here.
2-pin, 5-pin. It seems like every time someone's gotten to Tenpai, all of their tiles have been held this entire series.
There's one of them. So 5 left in the wall, and I don't see anyone. Maybe Eric could fight this, but I don't think Eric's going to. Yeah, that's just a fold.
Yeah, if you're Eric, you probably don't want to be in the awkward position of being champion maker here. You don't want to feel like you kind of unduly influenced
King, or in this case, potentially queen maker. Yeah, and well, here's Sumo on either end is Mongon. You have the potential for the Hanemon if you draw the 2 and flip it Uro. Five more chances to draw it.
And there's still so many left in the wall.
Yeah, 5 left. And you saw a pin, and I thought that
there's
was
another one.
Ooh, okay, and the 4-3 is going to be safe. We could see Huang winning this hand. I'd chi that. Sure, take your Tenpai, go for it.
And now you're Atazuke. That Hatsu it's live. Though. It's not dead. It's in people's hands.
Well, it's not coming out. Oh, that one's a scary tile. Gets pushed anyway.
Pushes it.
There's a Dora. One last draw. Nope.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, there's no way.
You can't throw it, can you?
No, you can't. There's no way.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, that would have been one where if you throw that, I hate to say it, but you don't deserve to be champion.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been... I mean, Huang is the final dealer, so Huang will get sort of the last say no matter what. But that would have been... That definitely would have put Huang not in the lead anymore. Huang with
Yeah,
double
that would have
south
been
now, though.
an absolute disaster. Yeah, the problem is one's a door indicator. We do have the one in Luce's hand, so man's going to come out fairly soon. So that's definitely a thing to watch. Dealer's hand isn't that bad, though. Actually, Ryan Shunten has some decent blocks here. Also, potential Shampone on the terminals. Across the way, we have a Haku pair. I don't think Eric's going to be involved in this hand that much. On the left, Luce trying to build value and like maybe 5, 6, 7, or 6, 7, 8 Sanshku. And Adora, there goes the south. That's an easy call. Now Ishun 10 headless. And the other thing that happened in the last hand we didn't pay that much attention to was that now we have 3 people under 30K.
Yeah, Eric dropped just barely below.
So this would be a 35-point UMA difference. You need a 30.7 point differential, and we're really close to that.
Not quite there yet, though.
Well, Tonki now. It's pick a Tonki and flip it later. Okay, waits on the 6. That makes sense when one of the 5s is out like that. It'd be really important for Huang to win this just for the pot in the middle, the 1600.
Yeah, every small amount is going to help
10,
Huang.
that's coming out. Yeah, this is
that
so
5?
Close.
That's 5 pairs for Eric across the way. It does have a Dora in hand, so wouldn't be surprised to see.
Oh, no, it may just be Doratonki. Yeah,
Yep.
That's never coming out. Eric's going to use it. Well, Luce may push it. Not yet, though. Maybe. I think Luce needs value, so I don't think it comes out. This is just 9-mon. Yep. I'd like the 1-4 a lot.
Do you like 1-4? You'd throw Dora?
A lot. In this situation, yes. Normally, this is absolute heresy. But I think it's more valuable to Huang right now. Because I just don't see Shaw coming out from anyone but Kenyon ever. Whereas 1-4 can come out from anyone.
Long hesitation on this Chun draw.
I hope it's not another disconnect.
I actually wonder if we froze. It seems like it's longer than the 15-second timer at this point.
Nope, there it goes.
And it does look like
it was another disconnect. This is really tragic. If you have 3 disconnects in the same game, Tenho will lock you out. And that would be the absolute worst way for this to end.
Yeah, well, and if Luce were to discard the Shah now...
And he's back. Well, yeah, there are some people who will just jam it right then, figuring this is the only chance you get. That is Tempai. This is a Ricci. 2-5 weight. Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao. And if you're Huang, you still just have to push. This is the problem, is that Shaw is so bad.
All right, Eric just folding here. The Shaw's safe against the dealer Ricci.
Oh, it is.
Luce could push safe against dealer and end up feeding Huang exactly what he needs. Which would also put Huang in 3rd rather than 4th.
That'd be huge if it happens.
Obviously is going to discard safer tiles.
That'd be 4-8-10. You can't take the 7. Well, Karagiri here saying I have a Kabe.
Chun is safe.
Pays safe.
And all right, and one so is safe against both, so Luce is okay. Luce still has safe. One more draw. But the one so safe against everybody.
Yeah, it's not coming out. There's no way. One so safe. Yeah. You're deliberately trying to which I don't think would ever happen here.
No. And we have another repeat. This is very
Huang wanted. This is kind of the hand that Kenyon wanted too.
This is incredibly reminiscent of the final Hanchan when Kenyon won her league champion. When she earned her seat at this table, it was an incredibly long final hanchan where she was just kind of wow, I can't think of the word, but she was jockeying, there we go, for the exact amount of points she needed to get first place for that session. And we're kind of in that situation again.
And that was a South 4, though. So the situation was everyone else had to be super passive. But it's similar dynamics here because Luz can't win a hand unless it's a monster, and Eric can't really win unless it's a Yakuman. So you kind of have the fight going on to where they can't take it directly. That's going to be Chi. I meant shoot guns. That's a pawn. And that is Tempai waiting on 8-pin, 8. So the 8-pin are locked up in that hand to the left. They're not coming out. 1-8 so is pretty locked up. So you only have one out here.
The 8-pin could come out eventually, according to how Loose gets to Tempai.
Now you can show the 5 back. Yeah, there it goes. 4 doesn't do you any good. Gonna throw the Karagiri there. I don't know why you're even hesitating. You just throw the East. Like, if you're Kenyan, the hand's going to play itself. Now, Huang can switch to the 7, but I like this 8 so 8.
Is Kenyan going to choose to... Is
Ryanman or take the ability to pawn? Okay, we'll take the Ryanman. The problem here is Luce is hoarding those bin tiles. It is Ishunten for Chitoy right now, though. Richi, Chitoy, Honitsu, Dora 2.
That would do a lot to catch Luce back up. Ooh, a third shot,
that's actually an ugly draw.
Would you have discarded 1 pin there?
No, I'm probably sticking with it. The idea here is Sun Onko. If you're throwing the 1 pin, you're going Sun Onko.
Well, if you're throwing 1 pin, why not toss 7 pin instead so that you could get another triplet?
I'm okay with the 7. I didn't really like the 1. The problem is, the thinking here is the 4s and the 3s are just dead. Because they've been killing them. You figure there's a decent chance Huang has one of each in his hand as well. When I see the Ishunten for dealer, perfect Ishunten.
Just gotta find Tempai.
There's
the 1 pin.
Oh. I don't even hate cutting 6-5 pin here.
Right, because the Pinzu aren't coming from Luz.
Oh, well, just get the 4 there. This is going to be called. It's going to come out and it's going to get pwned 100% of the time. I can't see any reason not to.
Luz really hesitating over it, though.
Since it's really bad for that.
Tosses the 8-pin! It's a gimmick!
2,900. This is great news.
And that's enough to switch places.
Especially with all that Homba in there. And now Huang is in the driver's seat here. Kenyan can still pull this out. I believe needs a Mungan Sumo. But even so, Haneman Sumo would do it for sure because that'd knock Huang into last place. But, that's a huge one.
I don't think Mungan Sumo is enough because Huang would still be in 3rd.
Right, Huang still would be in 3rd.
It has to be Haneman Sumo.
Math. What would that be? That'd be a 25-point spread. So you need a 40.8 or 40.7 differential. And it's not even close. No, you need a lot more. Let's see. Plus 20, minus 5. Yeah. Yeah, you need a huge hint. You need minimum Haneman Sumo. And I don't even know if that's enough anymore. I think it would be, though. It's going to be really close.
Loose probably going to go for the Chinitsu here.
And if you're Huang, you want to kill this turn. Even if you fall to 4th, you probably just want to kill this turn.
Although this is a winnable hand.
It definitely is. Interesting cutting the 3-pin, though. Doesn't ever want to throw this Dora, seems.
Right. You don't want to make the path to Hanuman easier for Kenyon.
Oh, a pair up of the Dora across the way. And yeah, that's your plan for value. That's still not going to be enough, even with a gigantic sumo. I don't know the Suwanko is enough. Because, let's see. I think it would take a Suwanko. I don't think a Honitsu Chun Dora 3 sumo would be enough, though.
Yeah, Suanko would be fine for loose, though.
Yep.
And that's Tempai.
And a big Dama Tempai, too. I mean, loose could even play Kingmaker here. Especially on the 6, that'd be Itsu.
I mean, this is
Tempai, that is, no,
not
that's not
quite
Tempai.
Tempai for Kenyon. Yeah, Kenyon doesn't want it. Kenyon really pushing
And
for the
Huang
Hanuman
just
there.
never throwing that Dora. Four pin safe now. That's the best time to get rid of it.
Ooh. Oh no!
No, you
Oh,
definitely
okay.
pass it. You have to pass it.
Right, because you can't win on that.
Right.
That would have been Huang's death there. But
Let's
luckily for
see.
Huang, Luce has to
Peiko,
play for
Honitsu,
herself.
Dora 2. Oh. And yeah, that's the expensive end. You can't even take the 6 there. And you're like, oh no, everything's dying. If you're Huang, I'm folding out now. I'm done.
Yeah.
Even 4th, I don't care. I'm done.
Kenyon still has a path to Tempai, but it's going to be really hard with only 10 tiles left.
Well, the other problem
Oh,
is you
there's
just
another
don't have
Dora.
much value yet. Because you're still, let's see, Ryan Shunten? Yeah, Ryan Shunten, especially with that Onko now. You actually, I think, had White or Ishunten keeping the Chitoy. Huang
Huang
is so
being
tempted. You
tempted.
should pass this. That's a great play by Huang.
Just looking at that south, just like,
Getting drooling,
oh.
and he did the math, and that should be the champion. Even falling to 4th here. We get our updated
Yeah.
game results.
That is a perfectly fine result for Huang there, because Kenyon only gained 58.6 on you, and you were over 60 ahead.
That is going to be it. Huang is our 2022 grand champion. Overall, 43.5. Kenyon at minus 32, at plus 32.4. Loose at minus 10.6. Had to pass some of those wins. Could have ended up positive, but wouldn't have done any good there. And Eric just couldn't get hands together with a minus 65.3. But again, congratulations to Huang, your 2022 grand champion.
And those were incredibly played Hanchan from all of our players. It was very, very high level play, very satisfying to watch. They definitely put on a good show for us.
Yeah, and really important there that you could tell Huang really wanted to call that, but there were a couple just good dodges, especially an early one where Huang just did not deal. I believe it was a live tune or one cut tune into a Honitsu Chitoy Dora 2 that Luce had built super early, made a great dodge, and that ended up being the difference here.
Oh yeah, just discarded an almost random 9-pin and said it wasn't totally random. I mean, on early Ricci's terminals are kind of always fair game, but elected to take a tile that we had a lot less information about, and it definitely paid off.
Okay, I think it has to be an admin to grab Huang in. We're gonna try and get him into the booth.
I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised Huang isn't in the chat currently.
Yeah, you can Edwin can drag him in. Oh, hey there, Huang. You made it in.
Thank you very much.
So, first things first, congratulations on the big win. Never feels good that fourth at the very end, but you did the math and that was enough. Huge wins in the second and third games.
Yeah, I have to admit I was very tempted to take the last South, but
Oh yeah,
luckily I
no, we
didn't.
we could all tell you were thinking it, but definitely got it together. There was a big play that I just finished talking about that was, I believe, a tune discard that could have dealt into a really nasty Cheetoy that Lucian put together by I think turn 4 or 5. This is in the East rounds, and you threw a 9 pin that was safe and dodged an absolute monster there.
I
Have
think
you
I
been through the logs?
not yet, no. I just
Well, there's a
unfortunately I've
surprise
had
waiting for you.
oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, unfortunately I've had some major disconnections through this championship series, so I wanted to say thank you to everybody and apologize for all of the issues during my gameplay.
No, we understood. The players were generally just trying to run their clock out, give people time in. Actually, Kenyon disconnected, I think, twice as well. Wasn't that reliable this time. We got the games in. Any thoughts on Wei?
No, I'm just happy to have seen it, and of course, congratulations, Huang. Like getting those two huge wins in game 2 and 3 really set you up nicely to be able to play the way you needed to in the fourth. So very good job.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. And I guess the obvious response is Huang. Anything you want to say, Mr. Grand Champion?
Well, it's been a really big honor and privilege, especially since I think I've told this story before. I've never played Mahjong in real life. I've played only Mahjong through the online community, so they're the ones that taught me how to play during COVID. In a lot of the clubs, like whether it's Richie Nomi, New York, or when the Richie Out series was going on, and now ARML, we've had so many good people who offered me their advice on how to get better, how to think more logically, and I think it really helps improve my gameplay to today.
Well, you definitely pushed pretty aggressively a lot of the time, and it certainly paid off. You're in A2. How are you doing over there? Are you looking for a way to get to A1? Will we see you back soon? How you doing?
Oh, A2 is really competitive. Actually, I'm on the borderline of demotion, but the scores are pretty close, I think, from the middle of the pack all the way down. So I'm able to squeeze out some more points by the end of the
A
series, but we'll see.
A2 has always been a very volatile division. You're going to see some players that can just run the table as you did in A1 and just fight. And some of the times it'll work and some of the times it won't. But some very strong play overall, good defense, and big hands. We love seeing those big hands here on stream. So once again, congratulations, Huang, the grand champion of the American Reach Mahjong League 2022.
And thank you very much, and thank you for your commentators for putting on such a good show.
All right. And with that, I think we're about ready to hang it up.
Yep, just make sure if you enjoyed the stream tonight, follow us here on Twitch. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is tinyurl/ARMLYT. There's probably a .com or something in the middle of
Yeah, there's a
that.
tinyurl.com. So ARMLYT. Of course, we're on Twitter, here on Twitch. You can always do notifications here on Twitch if you want to know when we go live. We generally post it in the Discord, but especially if you're not a member of ARML and want to follow us, definitely hit notifications here on Twitch. So, any closing thoughts on Way?
Thank you to Harrison, who directed our championship tonight. We couldn't do this without our broadcast directors who go largely unseen, so thank you very much for making things run very smoothly and giving us tips when we miss things here on the cast.
Yes, there's always someone behind the scenes that doesn't get the limelight as much, and we appreciate you. You'll occasionally see some people pulling double duty, but we always have a dedicated stream director, and we definitely appreciate them. Let's see, can we drag Edwin in here? He may not be available.
Now,
Oh,
Edwin
there's
jumped in.
someone. All right. Well, we've completed now the official 2022 season. So, do you have anything you want to say?
Oh, sorry. There's a bit of echo. Let me try to fix this here because I've been trying to monitor the broadcast.
Yeah, Edwin's got to keep an ear
Okay.
on us. Make
Sorry,
sure we
go
don't
ahead.
go AWOL.
All right. Sorry, it may have gotten an echo on stream. We definitely go on here in our stream. But Edwin,
Oh,
any
wait.
thoughts
Now
you
I'm
have
having
to say
issues.
for the 2022 season and going forward, the progress of the league and all we've seen for the last 14 months?
Sorry, I kind of missed that. I unfortunately didn't have the speakers ready because can you repeat that? I know this is really bad.
All right. Well, I was going to say we've been through a full year now. Do you have any comments about the progress of the league, what we've just seen here, the competitive nature of ARML, or anything else?
Well, for me, it's been the end of a really successful season for us. I couldn't have imagined when I first started this league that we'd be about 140 people in. I kind of said that initially when we had 64 for the opening season, so it's kind of surprised me every step of the way. So I am very happy to have seen the growth of the club, and I'm hoping that what we've done here will continue for, I mean, who knows how long, hopefully for a long time. I can't have also imagined that we were able to do the streaming that we would have been able to do this early, therefore providing all the content that everybody has seen so far this year, and which has also brought more people into our league. And with the championship and everything, it's it kind of puts things like puts a bow on the 2022 season, obviously. And with it as competitive as it was, I'm hoping that that will continue on for the upcoming seasons, and hopefully we'll continue to see more growth in the ARML. I mean, we're already going to go to a C1 league next season, so if you want in and you're an American citizen or a permanent resident, then you can go ahead and sign up, and we'll welcome you in with open arms.
Yeah, and it's been pretty cutthroat even there at the newest division. Those bottom divisions, currently B3, will be C1 next season, but they're always pretty cutthroat because you have such a wide array of players, especially this season. Brand new players all the way to actual JPML pros. So you definitely get a wide variety, and you see a lot of growth. You see people that I know were in B2 after the inaugural beta league who climbed their way up to A2 and working up. We have two people this season, A1, that missed the inaugural beta league season but promoted every season since and are in A1 now. So it's great to see the growth of individuals as well as the league.
And the other thing is that we're, with what we've done this season, especially with our Wednesdays, trying to incorporate logs, log reviews, and things like that to help people not only just play and have a place to play against other people in the US, but to also try to hopefully find ways to help people improve. And because we know that there aren't a whole lot of resources out there for non-Japanese speaking folk. So, we've been able to provide content in terms of just games, but hopefully we're going to be able to do more with these log reviews and who knows what else.
Yeah, we tend to use it often as filler time, but it's so important to tell people, look over your games, see what you're missing. Hopefully, we're adding context ourselves as commentators, telling you things you should be on the lookout for. Hopefully, you're integrating them over the course of your games. But overall, I'm pleased with how things have gone so far. We're wrapping up the year. We're actually halfway into the next season at this point. Getting these games scheduled is always exciting, but we do have 2 week sessions for everything. You don't have to just come in on a Tuesday, get things done. You coordinate with your individual groups, you build, and hopefully you learn and get better. And the U.S. community as a whole has gotten stronger as a result of the ARML.
Then that's kind of what, not only was the league meant to provide a place for everybody to play, but yeah, hopefully the hope was to also make the U.S. stronger relative to the rest of the world, and I think we're seeing that we're getting there bit by bit.
We've certainly shown up the last few years in the International Online Reaching Mahjong Championship, which I know you organize. That'll be later on in the year. But I think that is actually going to be it for all of us, unless you have any closing thoughts.
No, I'm again just very grateful for how well the league has gone so far and how much it's grown, and grateful for everybody who's volunteered, broadcasting, directing. Aaron Light or Chase, who's basically my CTO, handles everything in the background, making everything frictionless for everybody. Without all of their help, there's no way this would have been possible.
All right. Well, it is almost reaching into Wednesday on the East Coast. So for us, it'll be this evening. For everyone else, it'll be tomorrow. That there will be another broadcast on Wednesday. So look forward to that. But we're going to put the official wrap up on 2022. Congratulations again to Huang, your ARML Grand Champion. For Ennui, Edwin, this is Korak for the ARML. Have a good evening.